to the Trusted Tech Talks podcast. I have Sarah here with me, who is a chief of AI and also owns her own consultancy, where she goes into businesses and helps them implement their AI strategy. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for making the time to be here. If you want to just do a little intro so all the guests who are listening know all about you.
Sure, thank you so much. Hi, I'm Sarah Schlobohm. I've been working in AI for well over 20 years, though we didn't call it AI then. I started with a PhD in particle physics, which is where I first started using these advanced algorithms, then translated that into business. So I worked at PwC, where I was a chartered accountant, and I worked across financial services, I worked across industry, I worked in compliance, and most recently roles have been heads of AI, chief AI officer, and now speaking to lots of businesses, particularly small businesses that want to know, okay, this AI thing's here, what am I going to do about it?
Yeah. We're hearing a lot about the market as well, that people want to implement AI but they don't even know how to go about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I suppose just to start with, in your opinion, what is AI and how does it sort of function?
Sure. I mean, if we think about what AI is from a slightly technical perspective, it's kind of just statistics. It's looking at past data and identifying those patterns. Mm-hmm. So if you've ever put a trend line through some data points in Excel, that's a really simple version of a machine learning algorithm, and that's what we used to call AI a few years ago. So it's picking up those patterns, and those algorithms have gotten more and more sophisticated. As we got into generative AI, we got better at dealing with words instead of just numbers. And so it also just looks for patterns in words. These large language models have been trained on the internet, massive amounts of data of how we speak and how we communicate, and it gets really good at predicting those patterns about what we'll say next.
That's so interesting. I think when we talk about AI, a lot of the time we think about chatbots and things like that, when we actually look at the background behind it. Yeah, it's exactly that, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So I think something really important, I think we spoke about just before we started obviously recording, was about, if we're implementing AI into things, it's a worry that, maybe things will become less human. So how do we sort of train AI to have human values?
Yeah, the AI isn't magic. The AI learns from whatever data we give it, and we can point it at whatever data we want it to learn from. So it's our opportunity and it's our responsibility to make sure that the data sets that it's training on are the right things. Mm-hmm. Because, for example, if you give it a data set that's really biased, that only represents one part of the population or only knows about one topic, you're going to get an AI that's really good at that stuff and really rubbish at everything else. And that can have big consequences. So there are a couple of practical ways. If you want the AI to focus on a specific area, there are ways to ground that. Things like RAG, retrieval augmented generation, that says, okay, only answer questions based on this knowledge base over here. So if you were trying to specialize about law, you could say, all right, here's all the law documents, only know that, that's all you know, only give me an answer from that. But more broadly speaking, especially when that's out of our control, when that's with these big businesses in Silicon Valley, what are they training on? It's an important question to ask.
Yeah, definitely. And with that, do you think that AI has any risks with it when we're looking at sort of human values? So, for example, if the government started implementing AI to pull data from things, is that data going to be dangerous to people? So I suppose that's a worry as somebody who's maybe not as technically minded as myself, that could be a possibility in the future.
AI is a tool, and there's always risk associated with tools. Anytime you can use a tool to do something good, you can use it to do something bad as well. Even when, as humans in pre-human history, we first invented actual tools. Yes, we use them for agriculture, we also use them for war. So AI gets bigger and more powerful. You can do amazing things with it. You can save yourself so much time, you can be more creative, you can come up with great ideas, or it can put you in the wrong hands. So I think there are legislation, there are regulations out there that try and help that, that try and limit that, but it's something that we need to take very seriously.
Yeah, and what do you think would be something useful to implement that would help us mitigate that risk in the future?
So I think there's a lot that's good in the EU AI Act. Yes, it's a lot of regulation, yes, it's something we have to prepare for, but also what it tries to do is it tries to codify what was good practice anyway, and what good responsible companies were trying to do anyway. So I think, making sure that we don't approach those categories that are prohibited, that if we are looking at things that are high risk, we take that very seriously and we figure out what we need to do to keep people safe. But I think always making sure that you know what data is being used at every step of the chain. What is it trained on? Who is it impacting? All of that, and make sure we're looking for fairness and transparency.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. Some really good points there as well, so thank you. I suppose going on to next, I think a lot of businesses, like we said, governments things like have to follow certain acts, but I suppose obviously as you own your own consultants and you do go into these businesses and you speak to them about the strategy and what they can change, what they can improve, what do you think is the one critical mistake that most businesses make that you sort of had to go in and rectify or help them with?
So I think the biggest thing businesses overlook at the minute is that your people are probably already using AI.
Yeah.
They're just not telling you about it. And if you don't give them a policy, if you don't say, okay, yes, we want you to use it and here are the guardrails, this is how, then people will be just like typing that sensitive email under their desk and not understanding the risks of that. Because if you don't have the right privacy settings, that it is feeding future versions of the AI. And there have been some pretty high-profile cases of secret data being leaked out. So I think that's really important. You can't just have a knee-jerk reaction and ban it and say, nobody use AI, because everybody's got it on their phone.
Yeah.
Everybody's got it in their email. Of course they're going to use it.
Can you check this email for me? Can you rewrite this for me?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I think, figure out what you need to do to let people do that safely.
So you think maybe putting the parameters and teaching them how to use it correctly and saying, don't put that sensitive email on to make just to spell check it, try and do that yourself.
Exactly.
Sort of parameters. Yeah, I get that, that's perfect. And I suppose a lot of conversations we're having when I'm speaking to businesses they're really struggling to get adoption of AI. So I'm getting people that are scared they're going to lose their jobs, which is so understandable. They're scared that junior developers might not have a place in the industry anymore, things like that. How do you think we get people to adopt AI without having that fear attached to it? So I think a lot of people, they're trying to train people in AI, but it's going very fast and people are very scared.
Yeah.
So
one of the things I really love doing is having a general let's talk about AI session. Just talk to everybody in the business, from whether the job is technical or not, to just say, okay, what is this AI stuff? Why are we talking about it? Let's dispel some of the hype. But then do a bit of a live demo. So at one company we would plan a holiday together and we'd be like, okay, and we'd take it'd be almost improv. We take shout out it's okay, where do we want to go? We want to go on a romantic holiday for a couple with a medium budget for long weekend, and we would just play with it. And then you could start to see all the things like, okay, what do you need to do to ask a question as well? How can you be iterative with it? So then we can be like, okay, let's plan a dinner based on that. And then you'd see it plan the dinner. And you'd be like, okay, let's write a song about that. And just sort of playing through all those steps, you could see all the opportunities that you have with AI in a fun, but also possibly helpful way.
yeah.
And then when people can see how to use this in their real lives in a way that's actually helpful to them, then they can start to think, oh, here's how it can be helpful in a business as well.
Yeah, so he's trying to take that fear of work out of it a little bit and saying to people, well, if we plan something in your personal life with it that's going to help and make it easier, then surely you're going to see the benefit in your work life and how that can help you as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I like that activity as well. It's really good.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, have you had any people make really bizarre holidays at all, or?
Sometimes there were some slightly interesting suggestions when it got romantic.
You're like, please don't put that on that. Yeah, no, that's brilliant, perfect. And I suppose a little bit of a funny question alongside of all this is AI is making huge advances. Every second we're seeing something new. What do you think is going to happen in the next 2 years with AI? Do you think there's going to be anything crazy that could happen? I don't know if maybe we could watch this back in 2 years and look on it and say, oh my goodness, that did actually happen.
The one I'm actually really hoping for is that augmented reality glasses finally take off.
Yeah.
Because I love playing video games, and I love how in video games everyone's got their name above their head, and you can see their essential statistics. So if I could have that in my real life, I could be like, okay, this is so-and-so, this is where I know them from, this is what I need to ask them about next time. That would be extremely helpful.
Yeah. I've seen things such as, I think it was Meta, but I could be a little bit off with that. They were making sports glasses so that when you were cycling, you could select your heart rate and things like that. So I suppose we're edging away a little bit, but you feel like we're quite far off of that vision now. I think there's other products that are sort of coming out that are showing the timeline with it.
I think it's technically possible, and
Yeah.
it's just a matter of adoption. Google Glass kind of worked, but nobody bought it.
Yeah,
unfortunately. But yes, I'm hoping that we'll see that, and I'm hoping that we'll see sort of a lot of the really sci-fi stuff that we've thought about for decades. Because I think a lot of what we have now that we kind of take for granted was stuff that really was important in sci-fi, right? Like, would our smartphones behave like they do if we didn't have like the Star Trek communicator and things like that? I think we thought of the possibility first, and then we made it a reality. So we've got a lot of cool stuff. I'm also hoping for like Rosie the robot from the Jetsons. That'd be cool.
I love that.
I could use a robot housekeeper.
Yeah, I think we all could. Honestly, the amount of things I spill on my car, like another stain, or the girls will come over and we'll get ready for night out and there's makeup all over my floor. I just have a little robot to clean that up for me, please. Yeah, no amount of, is it pink stuff, I think it is going to clean that makeup out. Just love it, would be brilliant. But no, that's amazing, perfect. So in 2 years' time, we'll come back to the podcast, we'll see if it's a reality, and hopefully we'll be watching it through our sort of little glasses that we've got on as well. Sarah, thank you so much for joining me on this podcast. I really do appreciate it. Is there anything or any sentiments you'd like to leave the podcast with for the viewers at all?
I think, to be realistic about AI, it's both overhyped in some ways. It's not going to be the answer to absolutely everything, but I think people haven't thought through all the possibilities. So be the one to think through the possibilities.
I love that. Brilliant. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see you on the one very soon.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
No worries.